Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? It's your boy, Pastor Ron, and welcome to my podcast, Game Day Gospel, on the heels of another week of NFL football. Interesting week. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of things we're going to discuss, but it was a very, very interesting week of football. Honestly, this week, the only positive I got out of this week was that my fantasy team won convincingly thanks to Christian McCaffrey and Josh Allen. But outside of that, it's just bad news left and right for me in college in terms of pro football. I also had the unfortunate task of watching one of the worst football games I've seen in my life. The Vikings versus the Bears was horrible. You know, first of all, let me just want to thank you guys again. I don't want to just sit there and I want to sit there and be rude, but I want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for the love, man. I really, really appreciate all that you guys do. So I sat here and watched this game, and it was painful. First off, the pixie dust off Josh Dobbs, right? Is Josh Dobbs his name? Josh Dobbs is gone. He's back to being the backup because he looked bad, bro. It was a tough game for Josh Dobbs. His stat line was, I'll just pull up his stat line now. 22, 32, 185, one touchdown, 4 interceptions, 2 carries for 11 yards. Yo, and as bad as those numbers sound, it wasn't even like it was like getting a tooth pulled out. His pixie dust again has gone away. They scored a touchdown late. Couldn't hold on. The Vikings couldn't hold on, so the Bears finally won. You know, watching the game today, I was a bit perplexed, a bit confused because I don't know what the Bears are going to do with Justin Fields. They pretty much have the first pick secured because they have the Panthers pick, who are in disarray, and they have, I believe, the 3rd or 4th pick right now if the season ended today. And I don't know, do they draft a QB? Do they sit here and, build around Justin Fields, get like Marvin Harrison, get a O-line, get a offensive lineman? What do they do? I think Justin Fields has talent, but he's broken. A lot of coaches, a lot of franchises need to be sued for like malpractice. Yo, I sat here and watched Mac Jones this past week against the Giants. He was a shell of himself. He was somebody that was in consideration for Rookie of the Year. And then Bill Belichick had the bright idea of making Joe Judge and Matt Patricia the offensive coordinators, broke him. Got no help for him, no receivers, no offensive talent. Broke the guy. Now the guy is a shell of himself. He's like me playing on all Madden right now. Like he's like throwing straight to linebackers, throwing straight to DBs. Watching him up close was scary. A lot of these, it's such a crapshoot with these quarterbacks because you have QBs who have great talent but play for the wrong franchise, and it just causes their careers to be done. I think of Josh Rosen, think of Sam Darnold, guys who I think have talent as good quarterbacks, but they're in the wrong system. And you have guys who, for lack of a better term, who are mediocre QBs, but playing in the right system, i.e. Jalen Hurts, i.e. Brock Purdy. And these guys are playing in the right system. And because they're playing in the right system, that their skills are on full display. So it's really, really tricky. And I think the same thing happened to Justin Fields. Their offense is horrible. Like they sat here and ran the same play like 3 straight downs and then punted the ball. Like their coach has no clue as to what he's doing in terms of coaching in the NFL. And what can you expect from a guy with bad coaching? You look at the ball out of Carolina, Bryce Young. Like right now, he's broken. Do I think he's a good QB? I don't know. He's undersized, I think, but I think there's something there as to why they made him the first pick and traded away their first pick in the draft. There's something there. He was always undersized, but he had some skills that teams found attractive. But unfortunately, he fell into the hands of the wrong franchise / wrong coach. So that's the thing. I think Justin Fields is a good QB. Can I keep it a buck? I'll take Justin Fields in the Giants next year. I'll take him over Daniel Jones. I would pay for Daniel Jones Uber to the airport. If you say he's traded for Justin Fields, I would take Justin Fields in New York in a heartbeat. So I think a lot of it is bad luck. So I don't know. I don't know what they'll do with this guy next year. Excuse me, but that's that they're in a conundrum as to what they do. So I love when folks say coaching is not important, man. In football, coaching is important because look at Brock Purdy. Is Brock Purdy an elite QB? No, but he's putting up numbers. Why? He's under the right system. If you put Brock Purdy on the Jets, he's not putting the same number because he don't have the arm talent. But because he's in the right system, because he's with the right coach, et cetera, he's already almost passed for 3,000 yards, bro. Brock Purdy in 11 games thrown for 2,871, 19 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. That's not bad for Mr. Irrelevant. So, long story short is, bro, I don't know. I don't know with Justin Fields, but these coaches play a huge role in these teams, and I'm, if you follow me on Twitter, if you follow this, I'm not a Jalen Hurts fan. I think Jalen Hurts is not a good QB, but he's in the right system. He has good coaches, a good system that allows him to excel. Point blank, period. If you notice, outside of the brotherly shove, Jalen Hurts can't take a snap under center. He's strictly shotgun. So it's like, he's limited to that QB, but he has the right coaches that put him in places to succeed. So at the day, Justin Fields needs a new. I think if I was running Chicago, I would draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and I would draft a lineman, and I would build around Justin Fields. That's just me. I think the right coach, right system, enough talent around him, I think he'll be all right. That's just my opinion. As opposed to wasting a draft pick on someone you don't know, because I'm not convinced about Caleb Williams. His mental makeup to me is a question mark. His size, similar to Bryce Young, is a he's not as short as Bryce Young, but I do think that he's not him. He's 6'1", 215, which is not, again, Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young's got to be like 5'9", bro. Bryce Young got to be like 5'9", 5'10". Like me and him are probably the same height. So it's kind of different, but yeah, Bryce Young's 5'10". Yeah. Those, yeah. So I think, but still, like, just seeing him, and call me a jerk, call me a bad person, but just to see him talk about after a game, he wants to cuddle up with his mom and cry on his mom's shoulder. I don't like that. As a leader of men, to me, that shows a questionable mental makeup. Not saying that it's wrong, not saying that you shouldn't, reach out to your mom when you're going through stuff, But to verbalize that and to be at that place in professional football, imagine he goes to Chicago, who's starting for a QB, goes to New York. He'll crumble under that pressure. So I think it's tough. To me, I'll keep Justin Fields, and I'll draft him some help and take it from there. That's just me. But we'll see what Buffalo does. And it's overall, just watching the league, like every week you look at the games and you look at the slate, you're like, oh man, there's very few good games. And the same thing this week. They're going in. Bills and Eagles. That's it. I think the Bills and Eagles were the only games, and Texans and Jaguars. The only two games where both teams were over 500. Bro, like what is going on? Like Tom Brady said it. Oh, and the Niners played Seahawks on Thanksgiving. My bad. Tom Brady was like, yo, the league is mediocre. It's a lot of mediocrity in the NFL. He's 100% right. 1,000% right. There's a lot of mediocre players in the NFL. Like, it's not good quality. Like, if you look at look at the standings. Let's look at the league. How many really great, like how many teams do you think could really win the Super Bowl? Philly, Baltimore. For argument's sake, I'm not saying I believe this, but let's just argument's sake. Philly, Baltimore, KC, San Fran, Detroit, Jacksonville, Miami, Dallas. That's it. Right? You have the Steelers at 7-4. They're trash. Trash. The Colts 6-5. Trash. The Broncos should nowhere in hell be on a 5-game winning streak. Trash. The Vikings, booty cheeks, 6-6. Like, these teams should not be in playoff contention. And if we're honest, out of those teams I just mentioned, the Eagles, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Niners, Miami, Dallas are legit. Jacksonville maybe are legit Super Bowl contenders. Are great teams. All the other teams are just average or just, playing bad teams. So it's like the quality in the NFL is bad. Bad, man. The quality in the league is bad. So you sit here. Let's look at next week, for example. Seattle, Dallas on Thursday night could be a good game. I'm trying to find a good game. Denver, Houston, because Denver's going through that. But Denver's going to that 5-game winning streak, and mind you, Russell Wilson has not thrown for over 200 yards, like 5 straight games. So smoke and mirrors. Well, that's a good game. Of course, San Fran, Philly, and that's it. That's it. We have a league of mediocrity at best. Colts and Tennessee. No one wants to watch this. Chargers versus Patriots. Detroit versus New Orleans. Atlanta versus the Jets. Arizona versus Pittsburgh. Miami, Washington. Carolina versus Tampa Bay. Cleveland versus Los Angeles Rams. KC versus Green Bay on Sunday Night Football. It's so bad that the league does not have a game they can flex into that spot. So they're forced to keep it into that spot. There's no game they could flex it. There's Miami, Washington, no. Maybe Denver, Houston could have been a game they could have flexed it in. It's probably protected. There's nothing. This is sad, bro. You sitting there week after week. There's no good games. No must-see games. Partially because of the what you call it, the poor QB play. Look at the following week. You have New England versus Pittsburgh on Thursday night. You have, dang, bro. Oh my God. Seattle and San Fran again, but that was just a blowout. Week 14. Here's the slate: Patriots, Pittsburgh on Thursday night. Bucks, Falcons. Detroit versus Chicago. Indy versus Cincy. Jacksonville versus Cleveland. Carolina versus New Orleans. Houston versus New York. Rams versus Ravens. Vikings versus Las Vegas. Seattle versus San Fran, Part 2. Buffalo at KC. Denver at Chargers. Philly at Dallas. On Monday night, doubleheader: Tennessee versus Miami, blah. And Giants and Green Bay, blah. So what are we talking about here, guys? That might be a good game to go to. Giants and Green Bay on a Monday night. Might switch those out for the then the Philly Giants game for Christmas night. Interesting. Tickets kind of cheap. Need to talk to the plug. I think on Monday night drive down. Next day I could sleep in. Might keep the kids home from school. Man, this is bad, bro. Like Michael Jackson bad. Like you're going through these schedules, man. It's bad. Nonetheless, man, tough week this week. San Fran dominated. What killed me? Let's first start on Thursday. The biggest thing you got out of Thursday is that 49ers are legit and the Lions are frauds. The Lions, I said, their issue is they don't have enough of a pass rush, which gives QBs too much time to pick apart their defense, and that burned them in the behind against the Packers. You give any QB a lot of time, they're going to pick you apart. And this is the second straight week. Don't forget last week they should have lost to the Bears, but the Bears gave that game away. So the Lions are coming back down to earth. They're gonna probably be one and done. Sorry, hate to burst it bubble Detroit, but they're gonna be one and done. San Fran slapped up Seattle. I mean, it was 31-13, but it was never in doubt. The way San Fran is playing now, they play the Eagles. Hopefully, somebody could slap the Eagles up. I'm tired of the Eagles winning. Friday, Black Friday. It was a Black Friday for the Jets, man. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to tell you guys, I don't understand what's happening with the Jets. I believe, first of all, this guy, Tim Boyle, whatever his name is, he's worse than Zach Wilson, bro. Danny DeVito is the best QB playing in New York right now. Because Zach Wilson is bad. This guy, Tim Boyle, was a lot worse. However, the only reason why he started, because he's Aaron Rodgers' boy. The Jets are going to rule the day that they give Aaron Rodgers all this power with their team. He basically told them to throw this season so he had a chance to come back. I'm convinced the only reason why the Jets trotted out Zach Wilson the entire season up until last week was because Aaron Rodgers was like, don't sign anyone. I'm going to come back in a couple months. And if he does, it's a miracle. It's definitely something great. But his ego is so huge. He wanted to make a point that he can come back, even at the expense of a Jets season. Because the Jets, honestly, if they had a competent QB, the Browns just signed Joe Flacco. They just could have had Joe Flacco back in it. He was with them last year or 2 years ago. They kept Mike White. Any competent QB besides Zach Wilson, they kept a competent QB. The Jets right now would be competing for first place. They would have been the second place team in the AFC East, right behind the Dolphins. Because their defense is legit, but they could do so much when you have a porous or a poor offense. I don't understand how you bench Zach Wilson for a guy who's worse than he is. But then again, Aaron Rodgers said he knows him. That's why he brought him in, and he's the reason. Aaron Rodgers is the reason why this Boyle guy started. Unfortunately, I talk about the Giants. Giants won 10-7. We have Giants fans celebrate like Danny DeVito's a guy, great guy, great. He is better than Daniel Jones. His numbers, he has a couple of plays that I think Daniel Jones would not make. But Jalen Hyatt finally 100-yard receiving day, 5 catches, 109 yards, says a lot. But and they only won 10-7, and that's on a missed field goal at the end of the game by the Patriots. The Patriots are so bad; they were playing for a field goal. It was like 4th and 4, and the Giants like 30 yards line, 20-yard line. They said they were playing for a field goal. That's crazy, bro. Crazy. Not even trying for a win. Not moving the ball with Brady Zappo. They sat there and tried for a field goal and played for a tie to go into overtime. So yeah, Giants fans are sitting there rejoicing like, yo, we sat there and dominated the Patriots, who are, thank God for the Panthers, would be the worst team in the NFL, but they, we won. Give up 6 sacks, but we won end of the day. Giants came and tanked properly. We need talent. We don't need these little meaningless wins. Let's tank and sit here and play for a high draft pick. Joe Shane, right before the bye, also had a press conference. Talked about Evan Neal. Evan Neal needs to get better. The Giants, of course, out of all teams, would be the Giants that would find the one guy out of Alabama who was trash. Everybody's getting these guys. Landon Dickerson. You're getting what's that guy? Devin Smith. The guy receiver. Devontae Smith. You get all these guys out of Alabama, just studs out here playing well. But the Giants get the one guy who's trash. He goes to the Giants because Evan Neal sucks. So Joe Shane called him out and said he has to get better. But he also said that the expectation is that Daniel Jones is the starting QB when he comes back next year. First of all, I don't think he'll be back until about a year from now. Maybe like we're in December, November. He's coming back. He's coming back in November, early November, October. He's not going to be able to be there in the beginning of the season. So, with that being said, for him to say he's a starting QB kind of makes me nervous. I don't think we're looking to draft a QB high. The ownership wants DJ to work out. So the thoughts of us drafting a high QB is not realistic. Because I would like for him to say, hey, everything's on the table. We need to maybe create competition. But for him to say DJ is the starting QB, it pisses me off. I don't know what anoints this guy. Why is this guy the QB all of a sudden? I don't understand what he has done in his life for him to just have a job waiting for him when he comes back from injury. What has he done? He's a freaking bum. He's a loser. But hey, when he comes back, he's a starting QB. Like he's freaking Tom Brady. Guy's trash. So I don't care he's on contract. We have to stop losing. We need to start turning the corner. He's not the guy. He's getting released after next year when the cap hit is not that heavy. He is not the guy. We need to begin to look at life after Daniel Jones, or we'll end up like the Jets, a team that will never go anywhere and is forcing themselves to, who are being held hostage by Aaron Rodgers because they have no other hope. Still searching for a QB. That will be us, losers. So we're sitting here. I don't get it. I don't get what we're going through. I said after last year I don't trust this new GM. I bangs with Daboll, but this new GM is very questionable to me from his hiring and the whole issue with Flores and then I wanted Louis Riddick in the first place, so I'll put that out there. But I think his handling of this Daniel Jones contract, again, it could be from the ownership. There was no reason why we would have to give him 4 years, 160. We became a joke of the NFL. I remember the Bears out here clowning this guy. Like, this guy got 4 years, 160. He's trash. He could have given him a franchise, but instead he went to war with Saquon and gave Daniel Jones his contract. And at that time, the reports came out that Daniel Jones wanted $35 million a year, and everybody was laughing just to see him get $40 million a year. Must be nice, man. So, outside that, the other big development is the Eagles. The damn Eagles, man. I don't think you understand the amount of pain, the pain I have when the Eagles lose. When I have all these friends, Jozier, I have Serge, I have Herman, I have all these Eagles fans in my church and the men's ministry group chat at me. The amount of my sons are Eagles fans. The Traders, the Benedict Arnolds in my family, my sons are Eagles fans. The amount of pain that I've been going through these past few weeks with these Eagles, that when I sat here and see first half against Washington, first half against the Chiefs, first half against the Bills, being dominated, Jalen Hurts looking like the fraud that he is, and then to come to sit here and find out teams can't hit field goals, receivers can't catch passes to allow the Eagles to win. That smug-looking Nick Sirianni out here popping junk when they know that they were lucky. They're lucky to win these games. The one thing that is giving me a bit of solace is that the Eagles are not the same team they were last year. They have a lot of holes. And once they begin to play better competition, hopefully this week in San Fran, next week with the Cowboys, they won't have chances to come back. They won't have a chance to turn around and have miraculous comeback because teams will put them away. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this, how things go with the Eagles. But it was tough, man. The Bills. What's the guy's name? Scott McDermott, whatever they got. Bill, Frank, whatever that boy's name. He needs to go. It's the same thing happened against the Chiefs. You see, the one thing I give the Eagles credit for, to make adjustments. They see things that are working or not working, and they adjust. You can't sit there and allow the Eagles. You play soft. I remember it was like 3rd and 5 maybe. In overtime, they played back because they were afraid of the touchdown. No, you play tight. If you get the touchdown, you get the touchdown. But you don't allow them to get a first down. You force them to kick a field goal. They play so passive. The same thing against the Chiefs a couple years back that allowed the Chiefs to move up and down the field, force into overtime. They don't adjust. They play soft coverage, a bend, don't break a coverage, and in the last 2 minutes of a game, that's exactly what quarterbacks love to see. It may work during the game where you could zone and confuse the QB, but in the end, when they're trying to move the ball and want to dink and dunk and go into the boundary and go into the sideline and kill the clock, this is what they do. This is why they give up. They give up what these leads, because honestly, Josh Allen, outside of one throw where he got faked out by Bradbury, Josh Allen was the best QB on the field. Josh Allen was the top 5 guy that people called in the beginning of the year. But then, end of the day, they lost. The Bills, thank God they have a bye this week, because mentally they had to be shot. Out here fighting fans, out here arguing. But, it's due to not doing what you're supposed to do, not finishing these games, guys. You get what you get. You feel me? So, but hopefully, San Fran, my hope is in you. I was just praying that these frauds get exposed, man. I'm tired of the tweets and being added. I'm tired of the Facebook posts. I'm tired of the text. I'm tired of it. But listen, they're lucky to win. Eagles fans, I know you're listening. Humble yourselves. Humble yourselves, because this is not sustainable. You're going to get into a big game. You guys are going to get exposed. Mark my words. I'm tired of this pain living in this area and dealing with this crap from the Eagles. Yeah, but outside of that, that's pretty much week 12? Week 12 in the NFL. A lot happened. Much ado about nothing. Much ado about nothing. We just continue to follow the Eagles, see if they can finally lose. The Giants have a bye next week, so I'm good. And now I got to figure out my fantasy lineup because Josh Allen is on bye as well. But that's for another day. But this is an interesting week. One thing I hear, and this is my last point. I feel like I'm preaching, right? The one thing that I've heard is that Jalen Hurts has solidified his MVP case. He threw for 200 yards, bro. Yeah, five TDs, but you got to watch the game. He's not playing well. He's not a good QB to me. And I want to hear what you guys think. To me, the leading MVP candidate to me, Pastor Ron Rubin, is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is the leading candidate for the MVP. He has 70% completion. He's thrown for 2,935 yards, 23 touchdowns, 6 interception. He is the leading candidate for MVP. Ahead of Jalen Hurts, ahead of Myles Garrett, ahead of Patrick Mahomes, ahead of Lamar Jackson. He is the guy. Followed by Christian McCaffrey as a close second. I think Tua fell off, but Dak Prescott is winning. His team is 8-3. He is the leading candidate for league MVP. Tell me different. He's playing well in big games, even in losses. He had a good stat line against the Eagles when he played the Eagles. The game that they could have, or I want to say he should have won. So don't focus on wins and losses. Quality of play. Look at numbers. Watch the games. Dak Prescott's playing one hell of a brand of football. This past 331 yards, 4 touchdowns against the Commanders. He's playing well. As much as I don't like the guy. They don't like the guy going to the season. I feel he's a fraud, but give credit where credit is due. If the season ends today, he's league MVP. He's league MVP. And you can't tell me any different. Plus he's in Dallas. He's getting it. Tell what you guys think, though. Tell me, am I crazy? Who do you guys feel should be MVP? Who do you guys feel should be the one leading the league with votes? You know who has my votes, and I'm not being biased. I'm not 'cause I don't like the guy, but real recognize real. He should be MVP. Tell what you guys think, man. So it's kind of controversial, but I think it's true. But nonetheless, thank you for listening. Another boring week in football, a painful week for me. But let's hope that things get better. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok, on Instagram. TikTok and on Twitter. At me and leave me some comments, show me some love. Don't forget to follow this podcast. Leave a comment, leave a rating. It means a lot to me. But thank you for listening. God bless you guys. I love you guys. Peace.